Welcome back to the channel. It's Mad Mike. It's another MMA Monday. We're going to go ahead and recap the UFC 307 card that went on last weekend. We're going to take a look at the DraftKings picks that I placed and see how good or bad we did. And then we're going to go over the main fight on the UFC Fight Night card coming up. If we have any money left over from the DraftKings, we'll place a bet on the main fight and roll it over into the next fight night, and where we start over with a fresh $20 on the next pay per view. That being said, I am Mad Mike, the white guy with the dreads, and you can find me on all social media at Madmikebmx. If you want to catch some cool BMX pictures or some BMX videos, go put a like on those. That's what I do as a hobby and on the side. And that being said, when I'm not doing BMX, I'm watching UFC. Let's go ahead and take a look at these winners and losers from last weekend's fights. And we'll start over here with the first fight of the night, which was Kayla Harrison versus Ferreira. I was expecting this to be super dominant from Kayla. It did not happen that way. Kayla did get a fight on her hands. She was still pretty dominant and she still got the win. It just wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be for her. She could work on her stand up, in my opinion. However, her takedown and her ground and pound was pretty good. She was very controlling on the ground. That's what she needs to be with a wrestling judo background that she has. I mean, what can I say? Everybody was expecting her to win. She won. I mean, we got at least our bet back plus the 47 cents on that 10-1 favor. And hey, you win some, you lose some. We got one. The night started out great. I was feeling pretty confident. And then we went into the second fight with Kevin Holland. He was looking great on the stand up. And then he started getting taken down pretty early on in round one. He was flipping around, getting out of the ground position. He was put in by Roman, popped some ribs, or it looked like he popped some ribs out of place. You could see him in pain. He was saying something while he was getting punched in the face, but I mean, everybody disagrees when they're getting punched in the face. In between the rounds, we could actually see and hear Kevin talk about his ribs, how bad they hurt. He was trying to push through it. The ref and his team stepped in, called the fight, which is a safe bet. Rather see him walk away, heal up, and fight here very soon than, get even more injured in this fight. Fighting compromise is never good. However, Kevin put out a statement, calling himself discouraging names for quitting. Hey, man, it happens. You win some, you lose some. You're still champ in our opinion out there fighting the villains in the real day life. Batman wouldn't have quit with the broken rib, so I don't know if I'll still call you the real life Batman, but hey, Kevin will be back. We'll expect him to do well. Um, man, I immediately was like, that ruined my 5-bet parlay. So that was like 2 bets in one, just straight off with Kevin having to forfeit that. Unfortunate, but hey, I was still in good spirits. I'm like, hey, the next one we got the legend Jose Aldo versus Mario Batista. And man, how I was like, how can you go wrong with Aldo? He was looking good. His stand up was looking good. Mario realized his stand up was looking good. I'm going to push him against the ring and I'm just going to lean on him, control him there. It was super boring to see Mario do that. Um, I was even saying during the fight that Aldo needed to push away and spin out to the middle of the ring, which he did. He did a good job of doing that. I just feel like the altitude was hurting these guys being up at Salt Lake at altitude, just fatiguing these guys. After the second into the third round, Aldo was having a lot more trouble getting out of that ring position. A lot of people are saying they felt like the ref should have broke it up more. I don't know how I really feel about the ref breaking up the fights, especially when somebody's got the control. It's really up to the other guy to get off the ring. Not really. I get it. It's boring, and they want to see more stand up or more action, more finishing going on. But I don't think the refs should be stepping in and telling them to work harder. It obviously is work holding a legend against the ring like that. And when they came to, since something was going down, people were like, that's not going to be scored good. All those hands were looking phenomenal. The refs just saw it as control, gave it to Mario Bautista. I had texts going on early in the day saying, complaining about the refing even in the prelims. A lot of people think Aldo should have had this. This was Aldo's night. He was even wearing the crown at the end, and they gave it to the other guy. And we were even saying while we were watching the fight with the friends that, man, it's pretty embarrassing to walk around with the crown on and then get, you know, selected as the loser in that fight. However, I hope Aldo doesn't retire. I hope he chalks it up to maybe bad refing or maybe the ring control and comes back even harder. He's still a legend. He's still got it in him. I think he still has enough time to make another run at the title. I mean, that being said, we can just roll right into the co-main, which is Raquel Pennington versus Juliana Pena. Um, Again, we went with Raquel Pennington. We lost another, so that's three in a row that we lost straight off from the starting out good with Kayla, and then Kevin lost, Jose lost, Raquel lost. However, I did say that this could be Juliana's night if she got in there, made it competitive. I still feel like the Juliana has got a long road ahead of her, especially if she's going to choose Kayla Harrison as her next opponent. Because that was really close with Raquel. A lot of people, and I mean, a lot of people thought Raquel had that, especially how energetic, how on point she was on round 4 and round 5, and how if there was a round 6, she would have just kept going. She could have gone 7 rounds, where Pena mouth was wide open. She was definitely mouth breathing, having a hard time with that altitude. I mean, she was definitely dominant. Rounds 2 and 3, 100% go to Juliana Pena. Rounds 4 and 5, 100% went to Raquel Pennington. It really came down to that first round. How did you score the first round? Not gonna lie, as I was actually sitting there watching it, I gave round 1 to Juliana Pena. When it came to the decision, I said, man, if they gave her round 1, uh, 2 and 3, Juliana's got this, even though she doesn't look like she could go on any other round or any other minutes. And Raquel looked like she was pretty fresh still. I mean, that's the benefits of training in Colorado and then going down to an altitude to Utah. Um, Helped her quite a bit. Where most other people are still coming up quite a bit from sea level or are coming up a few thousand feet up to Utah, really will fatigue you, especially if you're not acclimated properly. And that definitely was what was happening to Juliana there at the end. She was gassing out 100%. Raquel looked phenomenal at the end of the fight. Again, I gave rounds 1, 2, and 3 to Juliana. However, if you were watching UFC live, I mean, all the commentators, everybody commenting on X was giving Raquel 1, 4, and 5, and then called it for bad refing. Unfortunately, I called it 1, 2, and 3 for Juliana during the fight, and that's how it ended up being. She ended up getting the W. She and knew with all that trash talk to Kayla Harrison at the presser, though, if she doesn't give Raquel an immediate rematch or she doesn't fight Kayla next, then she's ducking. That's it. She's just ducking the competitive fights if she doesn't take a rematch with Raquel or take that Kayla fight. In my opinion, I see Kayla coming up, being pretty dominant, throwing her on the ground, and either submitting or ground and pounding Juliana out. Juliana still could hold it down. I mean, she was the one to beat the Lioness. However, I still think Kayla goes up and gets this done. Unfortunately, when Kayla gets there, this belt is going to be secure. I would see Raquel maybe challenging Kayla, but I don't see anybody beating her in the foreseeable future. I mean, now that all being said, we still lost that one. Beforehand, in my previews, Monday last week, as well as Thursday, even on the sneak peek Friday, I still was like, Raquel can edge this out. She looked focused. Just didn't happen. That being said, let's just go into the main fight.
We did get this one though, guys.
The main card with Alex Pereira and Roundtree went pretty much like I thought it would. It went a little bit longer than I thought it would. I thought this was going to be over in round three. But basically, I thought Roundtree was going to come out with fire. He was going to look pretty good. He's going to look sharp, fast, powerful, which he did. And newfound respect for Roundtree. I wasn't following him as close as I could, but and he seems like a great dude, and yeah, the skills are there. I'd like to watch him continue, go back up the ranks, and try to get that. His after statement was what you would expect out of a top tier competitor. He thanked for the champ for the offer and let Alex know he was a champ for a reason.
I mean, Alex knows what to do with that stand-up game for sure.
That being said, Alex came in. He took a few hits, like I said he could. Roundtree just wasn't able to connect with that power shot. Alex, with that superb stand up game, started chopping away at that front leg, started working the body. And then by the end of round three, going into round four, you could really see how much it had slowed down Roundtree. Khalil Roundtree just didn't have that pep in his step. He didn't have that bounce, which happens to a lot of people when they fight Alex. And then Alex just unloaded on him. It at times it looked like Alex was there at the end was in a sparring round, just relaxed as could be and going to town until he got that KO. It's exactly what we'd expect out of Alex. Um, when he fights his next fight, it should be against a wrestler. We'll get to see him stuff some takedowns or see something maybe a little different. If everybody's plan is a stand up with Alex, he would probably be a light heavyweight champ for a while.
Just don't stand up with this guy. I mean, take him to the ground, try to break his arm, choke him out. Why trade punches and kicks with a guy who's the best at punching and kicking?
I mean, it seems basic, right, guys? Like, why would we want to stand up with this guy when he came from kickboxing being the best at two weight classes? And then he came over to the UFC and grabbed a weight class and came up and dominated at 205. Would we expect anything else? I mean, what besides Jan Hovovich, let's see him against somebody who's actually going to go to the ground. I mean, it still could get interesting in this, but hey,
Who doesn't want to see Alex Pereira versus Tom Aspinall? We all want that fight.
and why wouldn't we want that fight? That fight seems amazing. Aspinall versus Pereira. Shoot, as soon as the whoever Pereira versus anybody who's got the unified belt, Pereira's not even going to go up until Tom Aspinall has either gotten the belt from either Stipe or Jones, or those two retire and give him the undisputed. If that happens in November, then yeah, Pereira's going to go up in February. He's going to fight Tom Aspinall early on in the year, and he's going to try to be the champ, the first three weight classer. That would be awesome. I would love to see that. Let's skip over to DraftKings real quick, since we just yapped about the fights, and take a look at. Well, that's next week. Just take a look at our picks that we had here. Let me log back in. All right, and sorry guys. DraftKings timed me out here, but hey, no worries. We're right back in. And let's take a look at these fights. Jose Aldo, he was not the favor, and he did not get the win.
We lose with you, buddy. I didn't win. You didn't win. I lost $2.
Again, we only went $2. We weren't trying to break the bank here. Um, that being said, we did win with Alex. $4 gave me $4.85 off the win, so we got an extra 85 cents. We can roll that 485 in to the next set of bets. And man, that was a great fight. I watched that one a couple times. Kevin Holland, he was the favorite. We were expecting Kevin to win.
Yeah, Kevin, we expected you to win.
However, broken ribs, we get it. Uh, Stuff happens, and hey, unfortunately, we can't win them all, and which led me into my five pick parlay loss, which is right under that. However, we did get the Kayla Harrison win. Um, She was more than 10 to 1. We got our $5 back plus an extra 47 cents. That being said, we do have a little bit of money still left in the bank. DraftKings says we have $10.32 that we can throw towards the UFC fight night coming up. Let's see if we have this pulled up already. Nope, they timed me out. Let's go ahead and pull it back up, guys. Hang on just a second. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. I should have had all this pre-prepped.
My bad, guys. Hey, we're right back in it though. And what do you see here?
Well, what do I see? I see Brandon Revolt versus Tatsuro, and Tatsuro, the favorite. I actually went back and watched both these guys doing their last two fights, looked through their last wins. Both these guys have a lot of canceled fights where somebody had to pull out. Not between them two specifically, but over the last few years, last 3 years, a bunch of canceled fights. The fights that I did see were okay. It looked like Brandon went to more decisions than Tatsuro, but Tatsuro had a lot more finishes. He is undefeated. He is the DraftKings favorite. Um, that being said, we've got some DraftKings money. Let's split it up then. Then let's put put 450. Put 450 on that one. And then we'll put the remaining amount. Let's see. I'll do another 450. Do 550. There. Oh, is it going to make me log in again? No, it didn't. Perfect. All right, so let's see here. I had 1032, $10 even. We'll just throw the 32 cents. Tetsuro. All right, so 1032. That's what we're leaning towards. That is the rest of the money. However, as you can see here, if Tatsuro wins, we'll still get $8.40 to put towards the next week, which is still good. Hey, if Brandon pulls it off, we got 1282 to put on next week. So
Hey, everybody can be a winner. It's just how much are we gonna win? So that being said, Tatsuro versus Brandon Revolt. We'll just split it up. I'm really not sure who's gonna win this.
yeah, again, I'm not really sure who's gonna win. So we'll just split it up. Hey, it doesn't hurt. It's not a pay-per-view. It's just for fun. So we'll go ahead and put our whole 1032 down. Like I said, regardless of what happens here, we'll still have money for next week's fight night. Put on the main card. And again, we'll start with a fresh $20. Do the DraftKings. I'll show you the bets for the next pay-per-view. We'll do that every pay-per-view. So that's the idea here, guys. We're going to start taking $20 every pay-per-view. We'll put a few dollars on each fight on that main card. Then we'll recap it on that next Monday. Any winnings, anything we've got left over can go into the fight night. And then we'll split it kind of like this, talk about who we favor. Obviously, I'm favoring Tatsuro. Obviously, I'm giving him a little bit more. However, whoever wins here, we still have money to bet on the next fight night. And then we'll have UFC 308, and then it'll be a fresh bet. Um, so, uh, and I might have even said those wrong. Is the next one 309? So, whatever it is. 1032, we'll split it up. Tatsuro, I think he is actually going to get it. He's actually looking good. He had more finishes. We're going to go with that. We'll probably have $8.40 to put towards the fight night coming up in another week from now. And then, hey, if we lose, we still get $12.82 to put on the next fight night. Um, we will cash out in between each fight night. Now, if I'm winning hundreds of dollars here, we will go ahead and make all kinds of crazy wagers. It's just until the channel builds up, until we start making money, $20 every pay per view, roll it over into the consecutive fight nights until the next pay per view, and then we'll go ahead and re up again on that next pay per view. That being said, guys, I do appreciate you guys paying attention to the channel, even if it's just for a few minutes. And hey, thanks for hanging tight. I got a new cameras, I got new mics, I got new mix boards. That's where I was playing with the voice changer, just adding some effects, just changing it up a little bit, see if we can make it look a little better. Every week we'll try something else. I've got some other connections. Maybe I'll try in the next video with the microphone, see which setups I like better. Again,
It's fun having the voice changer, man. Like I can just be whoever I want. I don't even have to be in the picture. I just sound cool as hell.
That being said, thanks again. This channel is not sponsored by DraftKings. Gamble at your own risk. If you like what we're doing here, go ahead and comment. Tell me who you think's going to win and why. Subscribe and like the channel. Appreciate you guys. See you next week.